Hello, fellow investor. I want to welcome you to this channel. In this video, we're going to take a look at the earnings expectations for Costco. Costco is scheduled to report second quarter earnings on Thursday, September 25th after the market closes. We'll cover several topics in this video to see how Costco is trading going into the earnings and help set expectations for this earnings report. We review the current price chart and trend charts along with some key valuation metrics. I'll also share my Costco portfolio holdings and performance. Let's get started.
Costco is scheduled to report second quarter earnings on Thursday, September 25th after the market close. This is the fourth quarter in their fiscal year. In the previous quarter, Costco reported revenue of $63.21 billion, beating revenue estimates by $108.27 million. Costco reported earnings of $4.28 per share, beating estimates by 4 cents. For this quarter, the revenue estimate is $86.14 billion with earnings per share of $5.81 per share. Over the last 90 days, 4 analysts raised estimates and 9 analysts lowered estimates. Costco meets or beats analysts' one-year forward estimates 100% of the time. Costco is showing negative relative strength going into the earnings. The options market is pricing an implied move of plus or minus 4%.
Let's take a look at the Costco one-year daily price chart. We can see that there has been quite some volatility in this name over the past 6 months or so. It is currently trading below a rising but somewhat flattening 200-day moving average. It's trading below a declining 50-day moving average. The RSI is currently sitting at 45.86, so it is showing a little bit of weakness as we move into the earnings this week. The PPO is in bearish territory, and we did have a negative crossover 2 or 3 days ago. The accumulation is not at its peak over the past year, which peaked out somewhere around the beginning of June. It has declined slightly. The money flow is in negative territory. Over the past year, Costco has underperformed the S&P 500 by 9%. It has outperformed the consumer staples sector by 7.8%. It has outperformed its industry group by 21.05%, and that industry group has underperformed the S&P 500 by 25.83%. If I draw some annotations on here just to give us an idea of where the trends are currently facing, we can see one trend by connecting these two tops, and then I will connect another line to that top across 2 more, and then I'll take the low from April 7th and connect 2 or 3 points there. And what we can see is the price on Costco is going to be facing a decision here. If it breaks down below this trend line, then we could see the next support at around 869. If it breaks above, then we could see price reaching about 1030 per share, in my opinion. The indication at this point with the 200-day flattening out is we may find a pinch point here, and it just trades sideways for a bit. Costco is facing some monetary money flow competition with the high-flying AI stocks at this moment. That's where most of the attention is. So Costco has pretty much been trading sideways, although it has had a lot of volatility. But it'll be interesting to watch these points here and see how Costco trades over the next couple of months. If we move to a 5-year weekly chart, we can pretty much see some consolidation since September of last year on a weekly basis. There has been some volatility with the tariff announcements and what have you, but it's pretty much been trading where it has for the past year. On the weekly view, the RSI is in negative territory at the moment, and the PPO crossed over into negative territory about 3 weeks ago, and the money flow is negative on a weekly basis as well. One thing I like to always keep in mind with stocks like this is to draw long-term trend channels. So this is 20 years worth of data, and I've drawn some trend lines connecting as many lows as I can across the price ranges over this 20-year time period, and then make a copy of that line and connect it to as many tops as we can, and then I draw a dotted line just in the middle to show me where the midpoint is. But you can see over the past 20 years that it has traded pretty much within this range. Rarely did it cross below that trend channel. A couple of times I see. Most of the time it comes down to touch that trend channel line, and then it starts moving back upward. And in 2021, we saw it come up and touch the top of that trend line a couple times, came back down to the midpoint, and has moved back up to the top of the trend channel. Has actually exceeded that, but it has moved back into that trend channel at the moment. Looks like it spent most of its time in the bottom half of this trend channel, at least from 2008 up through about 2021. Looks like it spent a good year trading at that midpoint during 2023. And then since that time, it's traded in the upper half of that trend channel. So we'll see where it goes from here. There would be a tendency for it to pull back over time to the midpoint of this trend channel. Another interesting view on the Costco charts is also using weekly data over the last 5 years and comparing different PPO settings with various settings that look at a long-term average in comparison to one another, a mid-term average, 5 and 13 week averages, and then a short-term comparing 1 to 5 week averages. And we can see that Costco is trading below its shorter term averages, so it is showing a little bit of weakness right here. In the midterm, it's been showing a little bit of weakness, trading below its medium term averages since about July. But the long term, since 2023, which started showing some strength in May of that year, and it's been trading above those longer term averages since that time, but it is showing some weakness in the long term. So we're looking at a year, pretty much a year out here, maybe half a year here, and looking at a quarter here. But Costco is still holding up. It's still showing strength in the long term, but is showing some weakness in the medium to short term. We'll look at the valuation growth and profitability metrics from Seeking Alpha. We can see that Costco trades at a forward PE of 52.47 times compared to its sector at 16.52 times. So Costco does trade at a premium compared to the sector. But if we look at the expected revenue growth for Costco, it's 6.85% compared to the sector at 3.05%. And the expected EPS growth rate for Costco is 12.27% compared to the sector at 5.94%. So the premium may be justified here. If we look at the net margin for Costco, it's 2.92% compared to the sector at 4.5%. If we look at Costco in fast graphs over a 13-year period, we can see that trades at a blended PE of 52.2 times. They have an EPS yield of 1.92% and a dividend yield of 0.55%. We can see over this period that they have grown their adjusted operating earnings growth rate at 12.45%, and FastGraphs calculates their fair value ratio at 15 times, and the market applies a normal PE multiple of 37.4 times. The normal PE is indicated by this blue line, and the fair value is shown in this gold color. I also have dividends shown on this chart, and you can see that every 3 or 4 years, Costco does pay a fairly large dividend, special dividend. Costco does trade at a premium. It is trading above the normal market multiple, which is 37, and is currently trading at 52 times. This has leveled out here a little bit over the past year. Costco continues to show EPS growth, 9% for this current fiscal year. The next fiscal year, analysts are expecting 11% growth, followed by 10% growth in August of 2027, and 9% growth to close out the year, their fiscal year, in August of 2028. Costco is a very well-run company, but they are trading at a pretty high premium at the moment. If we zoom out to 20 years worth of data, we can see that Costco is traded below its market multiple pretty much all the way until we got to 2019, and then it really took off as far as trading at a pretty high premium. And I think the premium is just about as extended as it has ever been over the past year. January would have been about the highest level. So if we take this back to 13 years here, and we take the forward growth in consideration, the fair value, and the normal multiple, if Costco traded back to its normal multiple by 2028, which is quite possible, we can see that it has traded below its market multiple several times in the last 5 or 6 years. If that happens, then we could have a negative rate of return over the next 3 years. So I'm watching Costco carefully. I still have a lot of faith in their management team and their ability to run their business. They are at a premium and something that needs to be watched pretty carefully over the next 3 years. We'll take a quick look at my trades in Costco. I currently have invested around $11,000 at an average cost of $755.66. I've realized $462.19 or a per share gain of $91.39. I'm currently sitting on an unrealized gain of $2,932.49. Average price at 195.5 above where I bought them. I've received 263.46 in dividends, providing 2.7% of the gain. My current return is currently sitting at 28.2%, and my total return is sitting at 19.6%. I have traded Costco 15 times. I've limited my losses to $123.33. My total gain is $4,781.47. So that gives me a win rate of 80% for my Costco trades for a gain-loss ratio of 9.69 to 1. I hope you found this earnings preview helpful. If so, please subscribe to the channel for future videos and consider giving a like to help support the channel. Thank you for stopping by. I wish you the best in your investment journey and remember to trade well.